I always thought my neighbor, Mr. Johnson, was a bit odd, but it wasn't until that fateful night when the truth unfolded before my eyes. I had been hearing strange noises coming from his house late at night, muffled screams and thuds that sent shivers down my spine. I dismissed them as my imagination running wild until one evening when I noticed something peculiar in his backyard. I peered through the fence and saw Mr. Johnson dragging a large, heavy bag across the yard. The sight made my blood run cold. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, I decided to investigate further. Late one night, I crept over to his house, determined to uncover the truth. I approached Mr. Johnson's house, my heart pounding in my chest like a drumbeat of foreboding. Despite knocking on the door with no response, I found it unlocked and pushed it open, only to be hit by a putrid stench inside. The air was thick with the smell of decay and death. I gagged and stumbled backward, but my curiosity propelled me forward. Every creak of the floorboards beneath my feet sent shivers racing down my spine, but I pressed on, driven by an insatiable need to know. The scene that greeted me further inside his house was straight from the darkest recesses of my nightmares. Bloodstains adorned the walls like macabre artwork, and the air was heavy with the stench of death. I stumbled backward in horror, but the sight that awaited me in the next room froze me in my tracks. There, in the dim glow of a single flickering bulb, Mr. Johnson stood amidst a gruesome tableau of carnage. His eyes, cold and lifeless, met mine with an unsettling intensity as he brandished a bloodied knife in his hand. It was a sight that would haunt me for the rest of my days. In a panic, I fled the house, my heart pounding in my ears like a drumbeat of terror. With trembling hands, I dialed the police, relaying every grisly detail of what I had witnessed. They arrived swiftly, their sirens piercing the night like a beacon of hope in the darkness. As Mr. Johnson was led away in handcuffs, his gaze locked onto mine with a chilling intensity. A smile twisted his lips, sending chills chasing down my spine. In that moment, I knew that the nightmare was far from over. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but the memory of that night continued to haunt me like a ghostly specter. Every shadow seemed to whisper his name, every creak of the floorboards echoed with his laughter. And though Mr. Johnson was now behind bars, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike again. The knowledge that such darkness could exist just beyond my doorstep was a burden I would carry for the rest of my days, a chilling reminder of the fragility of the human soul.